I just want to eat Doritos while this timer is going. So that there's just something. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Or at least mess with the bag.
Trekcast.
The galaxy's most unpredictable Star Trek podcast.
Let it play out. Let it play out. Turn your mics on, guys. Come on, we talked about it.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah. That's how we do it.
There we go.
I would like the podcast to start now.
I would like to start right now.
Oh,
Yes.
Lord.
Oh, we'll talk about all of that.
All the things. We're gonna talk
All
about
the things
all
and
the
more.
things.
Yes, we're finally back after 2 weeks, and we have Strange New Worlds to talk about today. You guys saw the reactions from Dan and Daniel. You did not see the reactions from me, and I did not make one, nor did I watch either of their reactions. So this is going to be a live one. I have so many feels over this week's episode. Season
The
2
Target is
premiere.
homework.
Yep. I did my homework in terms of watching it and then thinking about it, but I didn't record my thoughts. So yes,
I read the book. I just didn't do the book report.
Yeah, exactly.
But I read the book. I'm prepared
Yeah.
to talk about it. I just
No,
didn't
really, I
hand my
read the
homework.
book. Really, no, really.
really, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. So happy Father's Day, guys.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
Father's Day. Happy Father's
Happy
Day. As you
Father's
can
Day,
see,
everyone,
I've
to all our
redone
fathers.
the studio again.
Yes.
Time for Father's Day finally. So
Mm.
I think it
Wasn't
looks nice.
what is that makeover show? Trading Spaces. It's Chatting Spaces.
Chatting
Spaces.
spaces. Yeah, the Chad has done the chatting spaces.
Yes, he's done the.
So
Chatting
I did not make over the studio, but you may notice that my head's a little bigger. That's just everybody
That's quite
telling
the
me how.
sentence. You may
how-
notice my head's a little bigger.
That's just everybody telling me how much they love the show. My head just keeps going. Boop. No, but it's my head's not bigger. The camera is closer to me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And that is courtesy of the Gentry 2000 Trekcast mounting system that arrived in the mail.
Gentry
I'll
is
have
all
to-
about mounting you.
Yes.
And your big head.
Gentry has been wanting to mount my big head for years, and his dreams finally came true.
Indeed.
Oh man.
He was gonna wait until Vegas because you know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but
Indeed.
he just couldn't. He couldn't contain himself any longer, and
But who could blame him?
yeah, yes,
Everybody wants
So-
to know, Dan.
yeah. So I'll take a picture from the outside of the shuttle. I'll put on an EV suit and
Oh
nice.
yeah, we got to see
space-
this. Is
spacewalk
it on
out.
a full arm with articulating arm that rotates and everything?
It's
or-
you know what it is? It's the Canada arm that used to be on the space shuttle. He sent me one. I mounted it to the side of the old
Oh,
Chrysler
Lord.
Town and Country.
Nice.
You know, honestly, we should like make something like that to attach to the outside of your van and just take a picture of it. It's totally fake, but take a picture of it and show it to your wife and say, the guy
Yeah.
bought me a new setup for this, and just film her
Yeah.
reaction.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, no, honey. It's an articulated arm. We're gonna attach it to the side of your van. It's
Yeah,
cool.
it's permanent. So you'll just have to kind of look around it when you're driving. It's okay though.
Yeah, we're dirty today.
Hey, we don't
We're
have the big
dirty.
D to talk about, right? So gotta keep going.
You might get it back. You might get it back. Wait till you get to the news stories.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's a transition. Should we just get to the news?
Get to the news. Go for it.
All right.
Star Trek news.
Because we're all about smooth transitions.
Indeed.
We're
Absolutely.
so smooth, you know,
So smooth.
smooth as butter.
So our first news story comes to us. Apparently there was the IndieWire Awards last night. And they
don't
did
know
an
what that
interview with Patrick Stewart and LeVar Burton. And it was a pretty long interview. I will have links to it in the show notes. But basically what they said is they were very excited for Picard season 3. They were really happy on how it turned out. But at the very end, there was an interesting little nugget where Patrick Stewart basically says, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but you know, what are they going to do? Fire me at this point? We are considering a Picard TNG movie based off of after Picard season 3. So
Okay.
A TNG movie. Oh, I love this. Time
Yeah.
1226. I love it.
yeah,
Just reading that. It's custom that I drink a beer while listening to Trekcast. Thanks to the live show, I'm now drinking at 8 in the morning. Hey, it's afternoon somewhere.
that's right.
That should be our new tagline. Trekcast. We'll make you day drink.
Exactly.
Trekcast. All of us will be in AA at some point.
What's really interesting about this interview is both LeVar and Patrick say that season 3 of Picard was great, perfect send off. Let's do it again and see if we can do it more.
Perfect send off. Let's redo the send off. I mean,
Yeah,
let's
they've done
redo
it
the
twice.
send-off. Let's
They've
see
only
if we
done
can do
it
again.
twice, right?
Yeah.
They did it in the actual series. Now they did it in the new series. Now they're
No.
gonna do it in another show.
No, they did it 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, this is the third goodbye.
Because the
Yeah.
last movie, everybody, went
Yeah,
their separate ways.
Yeah.
yeah.
But-
This is going to be like the Kiss final tour. It just
Again.
they're always going to be saying goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about that? If they did a movie?
I mean, it'd be cool. I'm excited. I mean, it was a great series, right? The last season anyway was fantastic. I mean, they hit all the notes right. Is there really anything that you can point at and say for sure that they did that wrong and it was big enough to really matter? Like, I don't know. I think everything came off just great. I mean, I want to see them continue in that timeline more so than anything else. Now, if this
Right.
TNG movie spinoff thing to make it like a big, number 4, if you want to call it that, happens, then great. Make that lead into something else, though, that continues along that timeline. Don't just keep rehashing the goodbye for the 15th time. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want a Picard season 4 as much as I loved season 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would like to see some of those characters show up from time to time in other 25th century Star Trek
Yeah,
shows.
Star Trek Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to see. They can't get the band back together.
Not again. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they can, but again, the only thing they can do at this point, honestly, is lessen what they just did.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
That's why it has to be something different.
Correct. I think it needs to be if they do it, and I'm fine with them doing it. I'm fine with them saying, "Hey, we want to do this and have a final like a movie type thing." Make that though be tied into the lead in to something more, and then it's
Right.
worth doing, right?
But
You can
even
playbook
then, like
from
you could
Marvel,
argue
for
that's
crying
what
out loud.
Picard season 3 was. It was the lead in to Legacy.
Yeah.
Exactly. That again,
Yeah.
that's what I mean
So
by
let
the only thing they can do at this point is take it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, if you think back to post TNG Berman era Star Trek, and what a big deal it was when other characters showed up. They never had the whole crew of the Enterprise,
Right.
but when Barclay and Deanna showed up on Voyager, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
When Riker turned out to be Thomas Riker, but when Riker showed up on Deep Space Nine, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
When Q showed up on Deep Space Nine, it was a big deal. I know she's a secondary character, but when Loaxana Troi showed up on Deep Space Nine, it was a big deal. They can keep doing those things. They don't have to get the whole crew to get back together for something, but
it's just like pro wrestling. When they have a run in, it's a big deal.
yeah, so they need to have a run in. They need to have just Geordi and Data, run in, they grab a garbage can and a steel chair.
That's
they,
right.
They smash Seven over the head with it, and then
They
pump their
they
fists.
pose on top of the turnbuckle and then they run out.
And then they run out. And
Yeah.
cool. Who's showing up next week? Oh, it's Quark off the top rope.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
This is one of the few times that I'm agreeing 100% with Daniel's wrestling to Star
because
Trek.
it fits. Because it fits.
yeah,
The joke in wrestling is behind the curtain is every possible wrestler. It's just whether or not they come out. So in the transporter pod or transporter room is every possible Star Trek character. It's whether or not they show up.
But I mean, we're literally salivating right now over the idea of Boimler and Mariner showing up on Strange New
it's
Worlds.
the crossovers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's when you watch
they're all part-timers, absolutely.
Exactly. It's when you watch a Spider-Man movie and oh my gosh, there's Iron Man, or it's when you watch an Ant-Man movie and oh my gosh, there's Kang, or it's when you watch Loki and holy crap, that's whoever the hell showed up in Loki. It's like all of that, right? So
when Laurel and Hardy met Frankenstein.
Exactly.
You laugh,
True.
but yeah.
True.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
George Reeves' Superman was on I Love Lucy. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Our next news story comes to us from Fansided, and the Emmy considerations are now happening. This doesn't mean that they're nominated for Emmys, but this is the studios and production companies putting out who they would like to see get nominated in hopes to get them nominated. So Paramount is trying to get at least 12 actors from Star Trek Picard Season 3 to be nominated for Emmys. Basically, everyone who was on the screen, from Michelle Forbes for her portrayal of Ro Laren, and Daniel Davis as Professor Moriarty, they're being trying to get nominated, as is Todd Stashwick, Captain Liam, to which he has said no. I'm kidding, he did not say that. But basically everyone, Data, War, anyone you can think of, they're trying to get them nominated. They'll probably get some, we'll see. But
okay,
I don't really care about award shows. I don't care who gets nominated for what. Yes, of course, Daryl, Michael Keaton showing up in The Flash. We'll talk about that today. These two have seen it. I have not. It's one I want to go see, but I just haven't had the time. So
yeah,
maybe I will this afternoon. I have no idea. I've got a little bit of things planned for Father's Day, but not a lot. So
it's a good Father's Day movie.
Yeah, it would be. I don't know. I don't think the wife and kids are really that keen on seeing it. They think they watch the trailer and. Are you kidding me, Daniel? Do you not know how this works?
No.
On Mother's Day, it's whatever the mom wants to do, and everybody goes and do it. And on Father's Day, it's whatever the mother wants, and everybody goes and does it with the father. Right? That's that's how it works.
Or it's Father's Day, and you say, "I'm going to the movies. This is what I'm going to see. I would love if you guys came with me." And then you just go get in the car.
Indeed.
I wouldn't be able to get back in the house. This is how it works in my house. Okay, I'm just telling you.
2 hours later, you will have seen The Flash.
This is true. I mean, we watched the trailer, and both of my girls enjoy Marvel. They really enjoy all the Marvel movies, more so than the DC. They don't like the DC. They're like me. I watch the DC, and it's like, this is a train wreck. Yeah. There's only a few things that I pick out that I enjoy on the DC side, but I always enjoy the Marvel stuff. And they watched that trailer, and they thought, good Lord, this looks worse than No Way Home. And that's one movie that they watched and thought was a train wreck, like me. There's too much stuff everywhere. Tobey Maguire, and all three Spider-Mans, and just kept piling. But I mean, it's an okay movie, but still, I kind of feel the same way. The Flash looks like a mess to me. We'll talk about that later.
Okay. All right. And then our next news story comes to us from StarTrek.com. This was announced on Captain Picard Day, which was Thursday, I believe. Was it Thursday or was it Friday? Captain Picard Day.
I don't know.
Shit, I completely forget now.
It was Friday.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah. So
there's an actual. How do you know when Captain Picard Day is?
Because I feel it in my heart.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, if you're on social media, then maybe you know.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sorry. Apparently, I forgot the true meaning of Captain Picard Day.
That's right. That's right. May the logic bestow upon you, and the diplomacy reign.
Oh Lord.
Basically, they have announced a bunch of different box sets for Picard Season 3. There's going to be steelbooks. There's going to be just buying the DVDs or Blu-rays. There's going to be a gigantic box set with all of TNG and the movies and Picard, just everything they can throw out there, all put together with some extra mementos. And that has not been announced at the price point for that one.
So I'm curious about that one.
Yeah.
It seems like they're trying to throw like every appearance of Captain Picard into one box set.
Just about.
And I'm wondering if the Deep Space Nine pilot Emissary is in that set.
That it's not listed on there. So I don't think so.
Well,
But it
that's a
is
giant. That's a giant misstep on their behalf if they did not do that.
It is a 54 Blu-ray disc set.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The rumor is it's going to be at about $250, roughly, for everything. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I like Star Trek and all, but
Yeah.
I bought all of the Berman era Trek as it came out on DVD for $100 a season 20 years ago. I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only thing I want from that box set is the deck of cards because I collect decks of cards.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Learn
So,
something new every. How's that
now-
go? Learn something every day.
Yeah, now I'm gonna find a cool deck of cards for Daniel.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm excited to go to Vegas to get some decks of cards.
All right, cool.
And then our last news story, because there's an update on it, allegedly. So I have to bring it up. This is coming to us from Giant Freaking Robots. So, massive
Yeah.
So you know it's got to be
Womp
true.
womp.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Exclusive. Pedro Pascal has been offered the role of the villain in Paddington 3.
Oh Lord.
Come on.
Yeah, baby. Paddington in Peru.
I can tell you
is
right
still-
now, it's not going to happen unless they cast a kid to be a sidekick.
So he can say this is the marmalade.
Yeah, I mean, every show or movie he does, there's always a kid
Oh,
involved.
I know.
who's a
Yeah,
sidekick.
absolutely. Yeah. So allegedly, Paddington 3 is going to start shooting in July. Sure. Yeah. I know. Dan is so excited. Yeah. But that's it. That was just it. I just had to bring that up because I saw it. So
All right.
Chasmus is happy
Cool.
about it.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing the Paddington love.
Indeed. But that's our news stories.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Well, should we get to the main topic?
Let's get to the main topic.
Fun will now commence.
And now I'm done talking because you just.
Yeah, it's what happens. It cuts us off.
I
Yeah.
know it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
just like I love giving you shit about it. It's fine.
Oh,
I
I
know
know.
it's a mechanic. It's not you doing it, but it's
Maybe.
it's the way it is. And maybe it is. Yeah.
I
Just plays those
I
nice
manually turn it back on just to mess with
Mhm.
it. I talk when I'm not supposed to talk, just to be the guy who's
Exactly.
talking when he's not supposed to talk.
It's
Indeed.
only because we love you, little Ocho.
Indeed.
Little Ocho.
See, I've got the log line from episode 201, The Broken Circle.
Oh yeah, there was
Uh,
some Star Trek on this week.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the season premiere. A distress call from Lieutenant Noonien Singh compels Spock to disobey orders and take the USS Enterprise and its crew into disputed space, risking renewed hostiles with the Klingons in a bid to aid their shipmate. This was written by the showrunner and main producers, Henry Alonso Meyer and Akiva Goldsman. So, as I saw pointed out somewhere, this episode is peak what they want.
Huh.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Chad, what was your thoughts since you didn't do your homework? Let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch your guys' reactions. I should have. I'm sorry. I didn't record my own reaction. I have no idea what your guys' thoughts are on it. I can tell by
That's
the
why I want you to go
pause we
first.
had there for a moment that maybe you're as thrilled with it as I am. Look, I'm not going to lie. When I watched this episode, I was smiling the entire time. Pavel, you're right. Well, see, there's a weird thing about that. You say you wish Spock and Chapel would bone already, but there's this weird tension between her and M'Benga the entire time they're together. The music they're playing, the way they're looking at each other, it was just
No,
I didn't get that. I
It
didn't
was
get
kinda-
that.
no,
No.
I don't mean like there was a thing there. I just mean it was kind of strange. The way they did it was odd to me. It felt weird. Anyway, overall, I had a smile on my face the entire episode. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
What narcotics did you ingest?
Did it did it make sense is my main question. And only a few parts of it really made a whole lot of sense to me. The rest of it was kind of odd. I mean, you have to kind of suspend certain things for a moment to really think about this. But like for Spock, for instance, and his entire demeanor and what he did and how he went about doing it. On one hand, you can say it's out of character, but it wasn't out of character because we have to remember that this is Spock before we see him in the original series, right?
Right.
Spock is older by the time we see him in the original series. Spock has purged all emotion by the time we see him in the original series.
He's just faking it right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure it out, actually, is what he's doing, right? And he's allowing his human side to do more things as he's figuring it out. And so I kind of just take that with a grain of salt. I don't like the new engineer, though.
I don't like her either. I don't like her either.
Horrible choice.
Yeah. Yeah, I look at her and I can't help but think of Miracle Max's wife from The Princess Bride.
Yep.
And the chocolate coating makes it go down easier. That's what I
She sounds
what
like
I hear in my head.
Yeah.
Well, it's her. That's the same actress.
I know it is. I'm well aware. I know.
All
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like if you're going to do that character as an engineer, don't show up from The Neverending Story.
Yeah.
Like come up with a different voice or so, do something, right? I mean, we have plenty of British actors who have an American accent. We have plenty of American actors who have British accents.
She's a great actress. Like she's won Oscars, but
for great actress
for what she does, I don't think it fits into this.
No, I won't even go so far as saying that. For the way they've written and directed her, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
She's capable of doing a lot. She's capable of not coming across as a weird little troll of an engineer.
See, I got
she should be a Ferengi, honestly, with that voice.
Well, to me, it seems like they're making her the fairy godmother of the Enterprise. She magically fixed how they got away with stealing the Enterprise. And I think that's what they're going to have her do, more or less.
She's the new duct tape. Yeah.
Yeah. She's going to be the Enterprise's fairy godmother.
So I know Chad didn't watch my reaction. My reaction was about 15 seconds of me just staring at the ceiling, trying to think of something to say, and then just saying, I don't know, I'll watch it again and we'll talk about it on the show.
When I was editing your reaction, Dan, I felt the deep dad disappointment. Like you're not angry at your kid, you're just disappointed.
I'm very disappointed.
Yeah,
I'm very disappointed. There's a couple of things. We'll start with the most obvious.
Okay.
Stop stealing the ship.
Yeah.
Just stop. Okay? Just stop. It's been done before. It's played out. It's old. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter what your reasoning is. If you steal the ship, you go to jail. That's how it works. Just imagine a naval captain who's just like, you know what? I'm going to steal this battleship.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take it into battle and possibly, I'm going to take it into international waters and I'm going to interact with our enemies. And I don't know, maybe I'm going to start a war, but I have a good reason. I know the admiral told me, no, don't do it, but I had a good reason. And hey, it worked out in the end. So, I get to keep my command. I get to keep my freedom. No, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Spock should be in jail right now. He should be right next to Una saying, maybe I don't know who that lawyer is they're trying to get a hold of, but I don't know. Maybe she'll take, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know that. And how many times are we going to do this? We know he steals the Enterprise in 10 years to help out Pike. Okay. And they don't, they don't imprison him for life at that point. And at that point, not only does he steal the ship, but he violates that. I don't remember what the name of the law was, but don't go to Talos or you're going to be executed. He broke that one too.
Yep.
Right.
Doesn't go to jail.
Well,
keeps his commission. It's old. It's been done before. And every time they do it, every time they do it, it cheapens the ones that they've done in the past. Okay, Star Trek 3, they steal the Enterprise to go rescue Spock. That was a big deal. That was a big deal back then.
Right.
You know, and I don't know. Every time they do it, it just cheapens it a little bit more.
You would think after so many like ships that have been stolen, they would have put some sort of measures in place to not like get them stolen. Like
that, and they didn't
them all linked like they did in Picard.
well,
that
just some sort of security measure, like it's under lock from the space dock, so you can't just move it.
parental controls. It's got parental controls on this.
Yeah.
But that and it was completely unnecessary.
Right.
Okay. Instead they could have had it that Pike leaves to go on his special trip. He leaves Spock in charge. They get this signal. They're out of range where they can't get in touch with Starfleet, and they have a choice: either go in the wrong direction to get close enough to get out of the nebula or whatever, so that they can talk to Starfleet, or he makes the executive decision on his own to take the ship to this Klingon planet or whatever. They could have had the same story where they're cut off from Starfleet, they're on their own without him disobeying a direct order from an admiral and then stealing a ship. They could have told the same story without
Admiral April of all people.
Yes, without that ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I think Pablo mentioned it earlier. They just could have stole a shuttlecraft. They could have just taken a shuttlecraft to go out there and investigate, and that would have made more sense. And I would see April approving that. Take a shuttlecraft out there, see what's going on.
I feel like,
or I'm sorry, real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Or, well, even that wouldn't be. Pike is already out there in a shuttlecraft.
Yeah.
They tell the Enterprise. They tell Spock under the command of the Enterprise, no, you can't go do that. He goes back to the ship. He calls Pike and says, "This is what happened. This is what's going on. They told me I can't go." And Pike says, "Well, they didn't tell me anything." And he goes.
Yeah.
That's a better story.
It is a better story, and you get Pike involved.
Yes.
Who was gone the entire episode.
Well, so okay, what Dan was saying is basically what I was going to get to. I think benching your main character, because that's what Pike is. He's their main character, right? On your season premiere is a very weird choice to begin with.
Yeah.
I think if you wanted to do basically a story that shows off the whole crew, because that's basically what they were trying to get to, and you wanted them to do like this whole, let's get to know each character and a little bit about them as we introduce what we're going to do further for the rest of the season. I think you needed to break it down into a smaller faction of characters. So like if it was just Pike and Leon and maybe that little girl, and then they've got to stop this war from happening. And then from there, they go get number one. And now we come back to the Enterprise. So that way by episode 3, the whole band is back together and now we're off on adventures. That makes more sense. And that gives us time to get to know characters. You could have done something where episode 1 and 2 are a 2-parter. So like a little bit of this episode is maybe you do the same thing with Spock and the crew, but we get cuts back to Pike and what he's doing to get back number 1. And so it's constantly going back between the two, and you somehow tie them together. That I think would have made more sense.
Yeah. I'm okay with the benching your main character, Pike, for an episode. I'm even okay with doing it on a season premiere. I don't think that's that big of a deal, and it's especially not that big of a deal with this cast on crew and the way they've written the episode so far, because we actually know who the minor characters are. We care about the minor characters. We know their names. We know, they've done a good enough character development to be able to pull that off.
Right.
They just didn't with this episode. But yeah. So a lot of strange choices. Let's talk about.
I will say the consensus online. I went through, through Twitter and through TikTok, looking at the hashtags, gauging people's reactions. Overall, it was, we're happy to see the show's back. Wow, this wasn't a good episode.
Yeah.
And that seems to be, everyone is still optimistic that it'll get better, but this was not it.
And it had good moments. It had good
It
moments,
did.
but
It
some
did.
of those moments were so poorly placed.
Yeah.
When he's, we all saw the moment from the trailer when he's gonna, have the ship engage.
Mhm.
And she's like, "You gonna do the thing? I have to have a thing." And she's like, "Everybody has a thing." And blah, blah. They stopped the action to have this comedic conversation back and forth. And it's like, hey guys, you're in the getaway car and the cops are right behind you. Why are you talking about your catchphrase? Just go.
That would have been a perfect opportunity to leave that totally hanging because they're going and like just go and just not and cut it off and not do it and then bring it up at the end of the episode.
That same scene should have been at the end of the episode when they're heading back to Federation space, and she could have just as easily turned around to him and said, we were in a hurry before and you didn't say the thing. What thing? Oh, everybody has a thing. They could have had the exact same conversation.
Yes.
Then it would have been great. The timing.
Yes. I did, suffer for the people, watch the Will Wheaton show.
Okay.
They did interview Ethan Peck, and they talked specifically about that scene.
That guy's awesome, by the way.
He said that it stemmed from when they were filming. There was one point where he was just sitting in the captain's chair, just kind of in between takes, and they started joking about what Spock's thing would be. And apparently, like 2 days later, it was in the script. So that's where that came from.
What was Spock's thing when he was in command of the Enterprise? He never really had one, did he?
No.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a thing back then.
No, because they laughed at him.
Yeah.
They laughed at the one he came up with, so he never did it again.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the Klingons for a minute. Right?
Yeah.
So we get our first good look at the Klingon, a really good multiple looks at multiple Klingons, multiple both genders, men and women, and they all look a little different from one another. Honestly, so like the one she's playing cards with has kind of an elongated head for some reason.
Okay,
did you notice that?
Not really.
Yeah, I mean it's like what was that movie that guy from Pulp Fiction was the main alien in, and they had the long heads and they took over Earth?
Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, Battlefield Earth. Yeah, he looked more like a Cyclo. That Klingon she was playing cards with looked more like a Cyclo than a Klingon, in my opinion. And then the next Klingons, a couple of Klingons we see the one lady looked like they're from the north. Exactly. The one Klingon the lady that we saw did look like one of the Duras sisters, kind of, right? So it was like perfect. That's great. And then the main one that we see towards the end that Spock is drinking the blood wine with. I don't want to nitpick. I'm going to nitpick. His prosthetics look plasticky, but they were all a little different. So I'm fine with that. I thought the Klingons overall were great.
Somebody online said, and I didn't see it even the second time I watched it, that you can see a couple of Discovery Klingons in the background. Yeah. Yeah. So,
the guy from Pulp Fiction. Yeah, John Travolta. I just couldn't think of the name. Scott, thanks.
Guy from Pulp Fiction.
Oh, I thought you meant Christopher Walken.
No.
Yeah.
Much better.
What does the Klingon look like?
Yes. Yeah. What does the Klingon say? Meow, 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 meow. No.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I thought they looked fine. I want to see variety, and I think that's an important thing to think about too when we're talking about aliens and even people. We always want diversity with humans. I want diversity of aliens too. I don't want every single Klingon to look exactly like the last Klingon I just saw. Like, what's the point of that?
Yeah.
So I want them to all look a little different. So.
I think it's funny that Mbenga has got basically Venom, Bane's Venom.
Same thing with Nurse Chapel. I didn't like that scene at all.
Yeah, it felt so forced when he pulls it out and she's like instantly knows what it is.
Yeah,
we don't know what it is because no one bothered to tell us, but she's like, oh, you have the thing? Do you always carry the thing with you? I always carry the thing with me. Okay, let's do the thing. And then, they shoot each other up and suddenly
slow motion
they're Jason Bourne.
Yeah.
You know, and they're doing their own. I think Daniel called it the hallway fight. Like
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
It was silly. It was forced.
Yeah. When they first did it, I was like, did I forget something? Like, was this from the first season?
Yeah, no, I was thinking the same thing too. That
Yeah.
you know, I must have forgot something.
What I thought when he first pulled that out and handed one to her, and she says, and she makes that line about, "Oh, you always carry the thing."
Mhm.
What I was thinking was that was a euthanasia pill in case they got captured.
Yeah.
You know, that was my first thought, was that he always carries that on him so that nobody can ever interrogate him. We got a bunch of lead up about what happened during the war and the things that he did during the war. And we already know M'Benga is a badass,
Mhm.
right? I mean, we just know that. And
Right.
from everything we've heard about what he did during, you know, they laid a bunch of background in this episode too about what he did. So
yeah, they did say they both served in the Klingon War.
Exactly. And
which
so,
I kind of don't understand that, because is she a member of Starfleet or not?
Right.
Because she does not wear a Starfleet uniform.
yeah. Well, she's like the UN medical team. This is
Yeah.
what
Is that
they
what it
make
is?
her out to be. Yeah, that's what they make her out to be, is like she's part of this Doctors Without Borders kind of thing.
Like a civilian medical group.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what they make her out to be as far as what they're, you know, what she's doing. So,
Okay.
Whatever.
yeah, it is what it is.
Maybe when we go to Vegas, we can ask them, because I'm sure
Yeah,
one
that'd
of
be
the 80
great. That'd be
producers will
great.
there.
Yeah.
I will ask her anything.
Exactly.
I'm sure you would.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, I probably wouldn't be able to ask her anything face to face.
Yeah.
Talking to her, I'd probably just drool and say I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, Star Trek. So you know, when they blew themselves out into space,
Mm-hmm.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but have we seen that recently as well? That felt awfully familiar, but I couldn't.
Blowing
I
the
mean-
nacelles like that?
Princess Leia did it in the Star Wars.
No,
movie.
I know that.
Yeah.
Oh God, I know that.
Yeah.
No, I mean Star Trek wise, have they done that recently? I don't know, it just felt very familiar, but I couldn't put my finger on where.
I just feel like we've seen it a lot in other movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe that was it.
Maybe that's what it was. I do like that he said, you know, we've got a minute before we die, but
Yeah.
15 seconds in, we're gonna pass out, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So at least there's that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So the serum, the super soldier serum, it
Yeah.
happened in Discovery. Bronson said it happened in Discovery. Them blowing themselves out into space. That was a
I don't
Discovery
remember
thing.
that, but okay.
I don't remember.
I know it's an
I'll be
Expanse
honest.
thing. It's an
I
Expanse
don't remember.
thing.
I don't remember anything from Discovery. I watched
Yeah.
it once to do this show, and then.
Oh yeah,
and
no,
then
they
I-
did it in the first season with trying to get Burnham off or people off of the one ship that was about to
But
completely
weren't they in
go.
EV suits? Like, it's not quite the same thing.
Yeah, maybe not the same thing, but I remember that happening in the
Yeah.
first season, I believe. First couple of episodes of the first season, actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Once we get past the binary stars battle bullshit.
Yeah.
So
All right. So the super soldier serum. What do you think
Yep.
it is?
Oh, it's
I mean-
definitely from the Green Goblin because it's green.
It's right up there with the magic blood.
It is
That
magic
cures
blood.
everything.
Yeah.
So
So
So I'm wondering if it is tied back to Enterprise with the
the augments.
the
the
augments. Yeah.
I
I'm
mean, it
wondering
should
if it's
be.
that.
It should be. If they're going to do this and have that, then they need to tie it into that greater story.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mhm.
For sure.
So I'm still confused about why Una is in jail and La'an is not. I mean, they're both genetically enhanced, right?
I don't think Lon is genetically enhanced.
She's out drinking Klingons.
I know.
She
She
is
is.
genetically enhanced.
Yeah.
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 And she shares a name.
Oh, I
with
know.
Khan Noonien Singh. So
Yeah.
it's not like nobody knows.
Maybe that's why, because people know, and so it's like up front.
Well, and she was born that way, as opposed to lying about your race, right? I mean, they've got.
Falsified
Don't they by now
documents.
have the accords in place as far as the augment stuff? I mean, I thought they did by now, right? Or am I in the timeline wrong? I get confused.
Maybe.
I think they do by now. In this
Yeah.
time, I'm pretty sure they have
Yeah.
the augment. You know,
The
no
Sokovia Accords?
augmentation,
Yeah,
none
I
of
think
that
they got
The
stuff.
them.
Right?
Sokovia Accords.
The Sokovia Accords are in place. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Mutant Registration Act.
Right, that's what
exactly,
it is. That's what it
Exactly.
is.
Yeah. Sentinels are going to come on in the next episode.
Uh-huh.
It'll be great. But no, I'm pretty sure that's all in place, and so that's fine. But I mean, she was born that way. It wasn't that she did it intentionally, right?
Just like Lady Gaga.
Noonien Song's offspring somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know how, but
I don't know.
Anyway.
But see, that's part of the problem. They're already kind of like roping themselves into weird logic holes that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm okay with some of that. You know, I mean, I want them to be a little looser with it so we can have some fun with the damn thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
here we go.
Gentry, that's right. Lon was born with enhanced genetics. Una's people do it regularly, right? And that was
Okay.
part. And she was supposed to tell them who she was,
Right. Okay.
right? So, and she never did. She lied about who she was on her Starfleet application. She's lied to everybody her entire life about who she is and what she can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and we know La'an is augmented, not just from she's drinking Klingons to the table, but do you remember their fight scene last season
Mm-hmm.
where the two of them teamed up to do a battle royale against I forget who was on the ship, the pirates maybe, that was the pirate episode. I forget, they were in engineering maybe. But when we had the Captain Angel episode, there was one of those episodes where the two of them, Lon and Una, were fighting together in engineering against somebody, and we're beating the crap out of everybody. I mean, it was just. And I remember Una even making a comment about, I don't get to do this very often. Right. I don't do this very often, but whatever. So.
Do you think we'll see that little girl more? The Gorn girl? That was
No, I don't know why we would.
Yeah. I mean, if they got a Gorn attack ship waiting out there, I think we will see her one more time.
You think so?
I think she's going to be in peril and they got to save her.
Why constantly put the same girl in peril?
Because that's your hook.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But she's way over here now.
I know.
The Gorn are way over there. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't matter. We can make
No,
it.
I guess it doesn't matter. It's true.
Yeah.
What do you think about this weird situation, though, of the 30 days Federation?
I was
30 days
just thinking about how ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
So ridiculous.
Who came up with that?
So ridiculous.
It's just, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so what is the significance of 30 days?
Yeah.
I'll tell you. That is the average cycle of Earth's moon.
Mm-hmm.
That's where 30 days comes from.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so to translate that to something that Klingons would agree to,
Yeah.
it just doesn't make any sense. It
No.
doesn't make any sense. And which days? You know, we're talking about outer space. Is that 30 Earth days? 30
Mhm.
Chronos days? 30 days on that planet? Yeah, I don't know. I don't
this
know.
is the problem
They
we're going to
could-
have
they
when
could
the
have
aliens
done-
finally come to the Earth.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I just feel like some of these things they could have just, if they sat down a little bit longer in the
Yeah.
writer's room, okay, they could have come up with something better. Like, you know, the planet is still owned by the people that live there, but it's administrated by, you know, some
A
third
joint
party.
force.
No, some third party, like
Mhm.
intergalactic Switzerland, runs this planet.
Mhm.
Okay, and it's their job to make sure that everyone who goes there to buy their stuff plays nice,
Mhm.
and that would make more sense.
You know what you could have done? The start of the Phineas Rangers, the group that Seven was in. Like that's one of their first assignments is running
Mhm.
this place.
Okay,
So at least you have that, you know?
the Ferengi.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on one hand, I agree, Dan. On another hand, I completely disagree. I think the reason they came up with all of this is because they spent too much time in the writer's room and did a shuttle craft or space shuttle version of a storyline where they had so many cooks in the kitchen that they came up with total shit by the end of it, as opposed to, you know, I think there's something to be said when you're in a writer's room and you got 3 or 4 people that are working on something that know everything in the background of Trek intrinsically, have the Bible, have the whole 9 yards of what they're trying to do, and there's only 3 or 4 when it's narrowed down. When it gets outside of that, and you've got 5, 6, 8, 10, especially knowing that this one was written up by the freaking, craziness of all the producers involved, that's where the issue comes in, because they were trying to direct a certain narrative that had nothing to do with all those other things I just mentioned. The Bible for the show, the Bible of Trek, of Star Trek itself, everything else, right? So it's just
When I was watching the opening credits and I saw how many producers, consulting producers, executive producers, like seriously, guys, watch the opening of the show, the opening credits.
That should give you pause right there.
Producers. Yeah, that's the problem.
Thank God for the writer strike, says Chaz Biz.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. The thing is, they started writing these, like Ethan Peck said in his interview, that they started working on this 4 months before season 1 came out. So they were already into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that's good and bad, right? That's good from the standpoint of they were having the forethought. They were trying to keep their logic of what they did in season 1 going and keep along that same vein. It's also bad because they didn't see any of the reactions from season 1.
Right.
And weren't able to include anything, updates, thoughts, feelings from all of that in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad part. So, yeah, kind of tough.
Yeah. I will say that the consensus online, like I said, mixed reactions, wasn't too, one way or the other. Everyone else is hoping that basically gets better as we move on. I did watch a little bit of a stream from Robert Myers Burnett, who's a pretty big Star Trek critic out there. Apparently he has seen quite a few episodes already, and he is not too hot on what's coming around the pike. Yeah.
Not what we want to hear, obviously.
Right. This is the same guy who they'd say, though, that Picard season 3 was fantastic, and he was right about that. So,
well, that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. So
that makes it even worse.
Yeah. So hopefully it gets better. Yeah.
Well,
Jazzbits. We all know Scott Batters is the one and only producer of this show. That's true. That's true.
That's funny.
But yeah, man. Apparently we're gonna get a few time travel episodes as well. We do have the Lower Decks crossover to, ahead of us. We'll get to see episode 8 together. I know that.
Yep.
So that's
episode 7 will be right before it.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
That will be cool.
I
did see
I hope it gets better.
Yeah.
I
did see the preview for next week.
Okay, go ahead and tell us about that. I haven't seen the preview. I saw it come up, but I hadn't seen the preview.
I did not either.
So it very much looks like a Pike centered episode.
Good.
The preview I saw had Pike. He was on a planet where he couldn't breathe very well, so he was wearing a mask, which I thought was funny. And he's there just to go get number 1 out of jail, I guess, or whatever it is. And so it'll just be him centered, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be really hard. I feel like they'd have to actually almost intentionally fuck up the entire season in order for me to not enjoy it. Because I still enjoyed this episode, even though it was kind of odd.
I don't know. I did too.
And I like the characters enough. They did enough in the first season with developing those characters that I'm still going to enjoy it regardless.
Uh-huh.
They would really have to. They would have to make every script as odd or awkward or worse than this one in order for it to be a bad season. So, every Star Trek series ever has always had a rough first season. This is the one with the exception where they had an excellent first season. So if they have a slightly rough second season as they're kind of feeling their way out into getting into more details of things, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
We hope we're going to get 5 seasons or more out of this. I can't see how at this point we wouldn't. I mean, if you can go 3 deep with Picard after 2 horrible ones.
We were getting 5 with Disco. So.
And you can get 5 with Disco. How can you not get 5 out of this? I mean, So yeah, I mean, I'm not discouraged in terms of what the rest of the season is going to be like. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. Every season's going to have a stinker somewhere, and they just happen to have the first one be, unfortunately, be that one. So I mean, hell, go back and look at TNG season 1. Actually, don't go watch TNG season 1. It's bad, especially the one with the
Gentry.
Century, what do you
say? If you look closely, you can see the porn Dan is watching in the reflection of his sunglasses.
That's fine. You know what?
He was holding up the phone a minute ago. I wondered what he was looking at.
If you don't want me to look at those pictures, don't send them to me. Century.
Exactly.
This is on you.
Yeah. Exactly. With the caption "Happy Father's Day," and you sending those photos.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, should we get to feedback?
Sure.
Yeah. Because
right,
I gotta have a hard stop in like 10 minutes.
Open hailing frequencies.
Hey, frequencies
We've
open.
got
Sir.
mail.
Well, now you tell us about your hard stop.
Yeah. Sorry.
Jeez.
I mean, you guys can keep going. I'll just have to bow out.
Yeah.
So.
That's fine. We can talk about Flash when he bows out.
There you go.
There you go.
Since he didn't see it.
I didn't see it. Yeah. Sorry.
All right, well, let's bring in Chad's businesses, and then Chad, if you want to look up, there's a Ko-fi account one too.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, there he is. Chazbaz in the dark. Just
hello. I guess I didn't turn the lights on. So
yeah, no, you didn't.
It's a silhouette. It's a silhouette of Chazbaz.
Silhouette of me.
Should we disguise your voice? You can tell us how you really feel about Strange
New
Worlds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds touched me here. So
not emotionally. So what'd you think of the episode?
Well, they gave Spock a loot for high blood pressure. That's a good thing to start the show off with. And it's like, okay, that's what doctors do on this ship, I guess. He has a loot hidden in the background.
Yeah. They gave Spock an Easter egg for the start of the show.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
here you go. Start playing this stupid loot.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you know what? Okay, that scene was weird to me too. Because basically Spock is going in and saying, hey, I'm in charge of this thing, and I don't feel like emotionally ready to handle this or emotionally compromised to handle this. And then the chief medical officer is like, yeah, you're fine. Instead of, we should look into this.
Yeah. And then they have like this almost video game style of his blood pressure when he starts playing the lute.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's like, get out of here. And then, they steal the Enterprise, which I thought was, it's been done. It's been done on every single series and show. And you're missing Pike. Like, this really, should have been Pike and Nuna right now. And then the next episode, maybe they steal the Enterprise. To see what they're doing when he's gone. Because
okay. So they should have put them.
Yeah, they should have started off with Pike, I think, in that storyline, because this storyline was really, I don't know, I didn't like it. And Carol Kane had this weird accent.
I mean, that's how she talks.
No, she purposely made an accent for this show. I read on
that's
the article.
true. Yeah.
Oh
and
boy,
I'm trying to think what's the name of it because I wrote it down.
Oh yeah, Leonin.
Lanthanite.
Yeah,
Lanthanite.
That was her accent, and I had a hard time understanding her when she came on the ship because all I could see is Carol Kane with fairy wings on, about to hit you with a toaster. So
I had to Google that because I was like, do we know this race? Are they from something else? Like at first I thought it's what Tasha Yar was for some
Yeah.
reason.
No,
But
at
it's
least
not.
put her in
It's a
alien
completely
makeup,
new
guys.
thing.
yeah,
it's all
not-
made
not
up new.
making-
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's just a human, and she can talk.
Well,
do
human
this, blah, blah, blah.
appearing. They're not. It's
Yeah.
a different thing.
Yeah.
Apparently
Yeah.
they age very slowly or something. And
I don't know. And then the
Yeah,
Klingons, like you guys said, they look kind of weird.
yeah,
And not only did they look weird, they acted weird. They didn't act like true Klingons. And I'm sitting there.
The ones on the planet.
Well, some of
the
them
ones
did.
who
And
the
then
ones
some
that
of them
showed
just act
up-
like actors with Klingon makeup on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No accent.
Yeah, no accent. Not like,
Some of them didn't
oh,
have an
you have
accent.
no honor, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing like that. And the women should have had boob windows on their outfits, like the,
Boob windows.
you know.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, I was missing that.
As one does.
As one
As
does.
one
Yeah.
does.
Everybody wants the boob windows.
Mhm.
And
Oh, boy.
when they go to the planet, she's drinking them under the table. She's like, what was it? Indiana Jones scene where she keeps on
Yeah.
tossing back the drinks. And
I liked it though because you could tell she was struggling, even though she managed to get through it. I think they did a good job of that.
Then she brings out the thermal detonator and so she's gonna blow the
Yeah,
guy's
see,
leg
exactly.
off.
That was
I was like,
crazy.
there's a bunch of like Star Wars and
Yeah.
other references here. And then Mbanga and Chapel do John Wick, inject themselves with V from The Boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. They got that temp V.
And I don't know. I watched that scene over last night, and I was just like, this just does not make sense because they said this is not their first time to do this, I guess. So
Right.
Yeah.
is this going to come back later on in the season?
Maybe it's illegal. Maybe they're not supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But they do it anyway, kind of thing. I don't know. Gentry says one thing that was weird, they didn't need the Enterprise to do what Spock did. Could have been a much smaller ship, and Carol will always be the old wizard's wife yelling liar from Princess Bride. Of course she will.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
The chocolate coating makes it go down easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just so funny. And
She's just
To
an
have
odd
her-
choice for engineer, period.
well, Himmer was so good last year. And
Yeah.
they killed him
Yeah.
off. And he was actually really cool. Yeah.
he was.
Character.
And they
then
developed him
dying.
well, too.
Yes. And he was different. I liked him because he was blind, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And it was cool.
Mhm.
It's like, I really like what they did. I mean, that's the second blind engineer they've had on the ship. So
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
he'd be the
that's true.
first because it's
He was the
prequel.
first, yes. But he was one of two, yeah.
And this is the issue I have with prequels is, that Chapel's not going to die in that scene when they blow out
Yeah.
of the airlock. You just know it's like, so you kind of lose that. Oh no, is she going to die or is she not going to die?
Oh,
And
we
you
don't
know
know
she's
that. They
gonna-
can make a chapel bot.
Where can I order one?
Let the drooling continue.
Indeed.
Take my money.
Yeah.
You might
How's
find
that
out
Joe
on
Go
Reddit
from Futurama?
post or
Shut up and take my
4chan.
money.
And what was I gonna say? And they did a barrel roll through the asteroids.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I mean,
I enjoyed that.
the CG was cool.
It wasn't hugging the donkey, but it was good.
Yeah, it was like, well, they had like some really cool scenes. You watch the
Yeah, yeah.
episode, and
Yeah.
and I like the CG. I like the way it was shot, but it comes down to writing, and that's the
Yeah.
part. After you watch the whole season of Picard, that was
Yeah.
excellent, and then you go to this, and it's kind of. I had that Dan reaction. I was like, I don't know. I gotta watch it again, and I watched it again last night. And I had the
Yeah.
same reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well-
somebody in the chat asked about understanding Mbenga, and no, you're not alone. I sometimes have to back it up to
I almost have to put subtitles on.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Because
love
I-
his voice, though. I really
I love
do.
his voice.
His
I
accent's
really-
cool. Like,
Yeah, he's
But
just an
the-
awesome character
The
all
way
around.
he is, the context, like the way he's
Yeah.
saying it, he needs they need to work on that part so you can
Hey,
understand.
hey, Dan,
Make them louder somehow.
you'll probably get this.
What's up?
Since they're rebooting the DCU,
Yep.
would Omega not make an amazing Mr. Terrific?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know a lot about Mr. Terrific.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah.
I
It's
don't
okay.
know. And that's
Yeah.
It's like, I watch all the MCU.
As long as I
movies
can
and all that.
understand what he's saying, that'd
Right,
be great.
They put the Bane mask on him and then have
Yeah,
him
there you
speak,
go.
and then,
There
then
you
you're really screwed.
There you go. Yeah. Anything else you want to bring up?
Why you guys sound so excited this episode?
Yeah, it's
Hey,
It's
we
fun.
wanted to love it. We wanted to
alright.
love it.
Yeah.
I hate to say it,
It'll-
I think I wanted to come in after you guys talk about like superhero movies and all that. Something
Yeah,
more exciting,
we'll-
like
we'll
the Spider
talk about that. Yeah. All right.
Because
Well, good
Well,
to hear
thanks,
from you,
guys,
Chaz.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, guys,
Thanks
I'm
for
going to
coming.
drop.
Got
So I'm sorry I'm going to miss the rest of the feedback. But yeah, fun times today. Get through the rest of the feedback
absolutely.
and then talk about. I'll go back and listen to the rest of the feedbacks here later on today, and then watch the Flash and listen to your feedback on it.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
We'll talk
cool.
about the Flash.
yep, sounds good, guys. Catch you later.
All right, Chad.
Thanks,
See you later,
guys.
man. All right, people. So we're going to talk about the Flash. So if you haven't seen it. Yeah. Yeah, Scott. Scott saying, I'm about to see the Flash too. You may want to bow out because we're going to do spoilers, I think.
Well, are
So,
we done? Are we done tracking?
Yeah, we're done trekking.
Okay.
Let's talk about.
Didn't you say you had something in the Kofi account? There was a.
Oh, yeah, but I was waiting for Chad to pull that up and not me.
Oh, all right. That's all right. We'll do next week. That's cool.
Yeah. Let's do that because
All right.
it'll take a little bit. Yeah, man, what'd you think?
It was probably my favorite movie from the DC EU.
Really?
The whole
Mm-hmm.
Not my favorite DC movie.
Okay.
Just my favorite from the DC EU. So we're talking Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, both Justice Leagues, both Wonder Womans, Aquaman, both Suicide Squads, Peacemaker, and what, Birds of Prey that I didn't see. Is that pretty much everything?
That's pretty
Right?
much everything.
That's pretty much everything.
Both Suicide Squads, yeah.
Yeah. So this was probably my favorite out
Okay.
of all that. I didn't like Man of Steel. I didn't like Batman versus Superman. It's going to sound terrible, but I think I enjoyed the regular Justice League more than Zack Snyder. I'm not saying it was a good film, but
Right. But of the
Zack
two.
Snyder's Justice League was 3 days long, and
Right.
I liked the first Wonder Woman. I liked Aquaman.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Peacemaker. I'm upset with myself that I liked it because it's not what I think comic book movies should be, but I did
Right.
enjoy it. And I don't even really like this version of Barry Allen because it's nothing like the comic books.
Right.
That's his, when he first showed up in Justice League and he was this high-strung, weird kid.
Yeah.
That's not what he's supposed to be. He's a police
Right.
scientist. So I don't even like this version of the character very much, but I did enjoy this movie.
Okay.
And not even just because Michael Keaton. I mean, Michael Keaton was great. I thought it was awesome to see him again. I thought it was a cool storyline, and I know it's based on Flashpoint, but it's not exactly the same. I think they did a good job of doing it similar, but not exactly the same. I really enjoyed the dynamic between him and his younger self. I think that resonates with people because who would not be annoyed with meeting their younger self?
Oh yeah.
Because you're obviously dealing with a version of yourself that's not as wise as you, and that has to be very is it just me? Where'd you go?
No, I just because you were talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. but I mean, who wouldn't be annoyed with themselves because you're looking at yourself thinking you think you're so smart, but you're an idiot because I know all the mistakes that you are going to make over the next 10 years or so. And also seeing him being essentially jealous of himself.
Yeah.
At the same time, because this is a version of him that grew up having everything that he wanted in the world, and he's an asshole because of it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to see. And I thought it was, because he has that wisdom over the other version of himself, he's the one who figures out in the end that this is an unwinnable scenario. It doesn't matter how many times we go back. We can't change this. Yeah, we can't fix this. And and the painful decision that he had to make to go back and just let that tragedy that defined him, just let it happen. That was powerful.
Yeah.
The last few minutes with his mother in the market there, that was powerful. And I also enjoy how he even then he didn't even completely learn the lesson.
Yeah.
In the end, he moved the can of tomatoes,
right,
so that his dad's face would show up on the security camera and exonerate him, and it still had the butterfly effect because when Bruce steps out of the car, it's not who we expect it to be.
Right.
Which I don't know how they're going to rectify that going forward, but that's a whole nother thing. So
okay, yeah, we'll get into that.
So I mean, they could even use that in the sequel somehow, that he still hasn't fixed everything. He still has work to do to fix what happened. A lot of people, I like the cameos. There were a lot of cameos when he's inside the multiverse or whatever it's called. A lot of people complained about the CGI. I didn't mind so much, I think, because I understood that is a representation of those events that he's seeing while he's inside the Speed Force. That's not,
which is what the director has said.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fun.
Yep.
I thought it was goofy and silly at some points. It made me laugh a lot. I was very entertained and emotional with it. I heard something walking into the movie that stuck with me the entire time, and I wanted to bring it up to you, see what your thoughts are. Okay. If they had swapped out Michael Keaton and they used Christian Bale instead, did everything the exact same, but it was Bale, would it resonate as well?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
And that's me.
Okay.
I don't have the same connection to Christian Bale that I have to Michael Keaton. Yeah, I mean, I was 12 years old when Batman 89 came out. So, I was approaching being a teenager, but I was still very much a kid.
Yeah.
So it's a callback to my childhood. So I think that's why I connected with Keaton.
So to give you an idea, though,
okay,
Batman Begins was released in 2005, so about 18 years ago.
Yeah.
So for kids who were 10 years old when that movie came out, they'd be what, mid-20s by now?
Yeah.
So like for them, it would be the exact same thing that you experienced. So I get why people are asking that question, but I think this was basically the last time you could do it with Keaton, and you got to do that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the film. As far as your question of like, what are they doing with George Clooney and the further moving on, I kind of have a feeling that because James Gunn has said there was an interview he did on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast where he said that Blue Beetle will be the first DCU character, but Superman would be the first DCU movie. So to me, it sounds like
that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, but here's my understanding of what that means. They're gonna pick and choose what they want. The reboot is Superman, and then going forward, there might be elements that were in the past, but it's gonna be like, here's a new timeline that may have similar elements within it from what you've seen. So those histories don't matter, but the characterization is the same.
Well, I mean, we've also got another Aquaman movie coming.
Right.
So they've made such a mess.
I know.
They have made such a mess, and it's not beyond them. They know this. They know this.
That's why it's a bowl of spaghetti.
The bowl. I was going to say the bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think Superman is going to be the hard reboot more than they want us to know right now, because they don't want to say everything's completely rebooting on Superman. Well, then why do I need to see these other movies?
Yeah. I mean, this movie went through rewrites and reshoots and all that. I don't know why they didn't use this as the opportunity to do all that.
They should have.
They absolutely should have. I'm also disappointed that
the last one.
Yeah. I'm also disappointed that Grant Gustin didn't show up.
They could have put him in there
in any capacity at all. And it was even more stinging when you see the Golden Age Flash and
it's Tony Sears.
Yeah, it's not even John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah,
it's a guy masquerading as the Golden Age Flash. So I don't know what the deal was with that.
What's funny is Tony Sears is like, he has said, they didn't bring me in for that. They just took footage of me and then kind of altered it. And
which means, I mean, they 100% had the ability to put Grant Gustin in there. So I mean,
they had filmed. So people are asking, how is Ezra Miller not canceled? Why would they use him for this? Look, man, they shot this movie years ago.
Yeah.
And like, we're holding off on the effects and everything. They kept rewriting the Easter eggs in it. Like, eventually they just had to release the thing. And they had invested so much money into this. To reshoot it with the new actor was just untenable.
No, I wasn't saying that they should reshoot it with a new actor.
No.
But I'm just talking about all the cameos they did. They didn't do John Wesley Shipp and Grant Gustin, and that was baffling to me.
Andrew Muschietti says that there is a deleted scene with Keaton explaining why he gave up being Batman.
I would like to see that.
Apparently it's a very powerful scene. He says it's going to be in the deleted scenes for the DVD. So
I did like where he says, God, he basically said, I'm not needed anymore. Gotham City is the safest big city in the world, or something to that effect. Which is what, and that really hit home for me being a New Yorker. Because New York City used to be an utter shithole.
Right.
In the 70s and the 80s, New York City was an absolute shithole. And say what you want about him now. I know he kind of went off the rails the last few years, but Rudy Giuliani came in and really cleaned up New York City. And, it became the kind of place that you could take your kids. And that was the tagline that we would hear all the time is safest big city in the world. Safest big city in the world. And it was 100% true. It's a shithole again. It's an absolute shithole again, because the last two guys are completely incompetent. But, so to hear that line and have them equate that to Gotham City, as a New Yorker, I kind of said to myself, I would be interested to see that Gotham City and see what it looks like. But apparently, if the city becomes really nice, then your mansion on the outskirts of town becomes a shithole because nobody's cut the grass in 10 years.
That was my favorite when Ben Affleck was holding on to the rope of truth, the lasso of truth, and he's just like, if I really wanted to fix Gotham, I would get rid of poverty.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny that he admits it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
so it was, even though I didn't like the Justice League movies, it was nice to see them together again, even though we didn't get all of them. Getting Batman and Wonder Woman and Flash on screen
man, it
together.
Was
it was nice. It was nice. It was nice to see.
Yeah.
I like how Alfred was there and basically called him in to clean up Batman's mess. That was cool. I thought the scene with the baby shower was neat.
And he couldn't just grab them because he would hurt the babies.
Yes. Yep. I think there was a missed opportunity there where he's running low on calories and he needs some food. And they had him break into the vending machine. I think there was a missed opportunity for some comedy there if he just started sucking down baby formula.
Yeah.
Because it's just liquid calories. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And then they could have a scene with him on the ground later and he's belching and he's just like, oh, that's disgusting. That's so gross. How could they drink that stuff?
You could have done somebody pats his back, like, good job. And then that's when he belches. Like he's been burped.
Or he spits up like a little baby does when he has too much formula. Just missed opportunity. That's all. Yeah. Missed opportunity.
That's funny.
I enjoyed it. I took my son and his friend to see it. They both enjoyed it.
Oh, good. Nice.
Yeah. The post-credit scene, I mean, it was nice to see that guy, but it really didn't add anything.
Yeah,
at
take
all.
it or leave it. Like it didn't matter.
Yeah. It didn't add anything at all.
Yeah.
I would have much rather seen a hint of something to come.
Yeah. Me too.
Whether it's Bruce Wayne, Clark Kent, somebody.
I don't think I imagine at this point they do kind of know what's to come, but to have the people in place already to kind of show that, I don't think they're at that point. So yeah.
It was really cool seeing Christopher Reeve again.
Yeah. With Helen Slater. That was cool.
Yes. So that hit me right in the feels. Because growing up, that was my Superman. And seeing him on screen with Helen Slater, that's the first time we've seen that. Those two characters, those movies exist in the same universe, but we've never seen those two characters together.
Right.
So it was cool.
I do like too that Keaton had no idea what Superman was.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because they have a Batman 89 comic and a Superman 78 comic.
Right.
And it's based on the Keaton Batman and the Reeve Superman, and they've confirmed that they exist in the same universe. So,
well, that's that strand of spaghetti.
Yeah. And we know that. See, it's weird because Val Kilmer and what's the other guy? The guy who stepped out of the car at the end. Jeez.
George Clooney.
That is the same Batman.
Yeah.
But they've kind of treated it like it's not.
Yeah.
And I think it was George Clooney who name dropped Superman in that movie.
Yeah,
said,
he did.
This is why Superman works alone. So
I know.
And the other argument is, the Michael Keaton Batman that we saw Thursday night when we went to the movies
Mhm.
is not the same Batman from the 1989 movies.
Right.
He's another version who is very, very, his timeline is very, very, very similar to
Mhm.
that one. I guess that's how we can explain that away. Because, you know, he's got a waterfall in his Batcave.
Right.
Michael Keaton never had a waterfall in his Batcave.
I like when they were
So-
escaping and he's sitting there doing his calculations, bust out the measuring tape.
Yes. And that was a great callback.
Yeah.
That was a great callback.
Yeah.
And then
How much
they
do you
all eat
weigh?
nuts. They all eat nuts together because, you
Yeah.
know, they went and got nuts.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So I enjoyed it. It was a good
Cool.
movie.
Cool. All right.
I think we
anything else
lost
wanna
our
bring up?
audience. Is anybody still watching?
People are talking about like Adam West and all that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, people are still
All right.
watching. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
all right. Well, I guess that's it for the show, and we'll be back
Alrighty.
next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by, everyone.
All right.
Daniel, good to see you. Talk
See you,
soon.
man.
Bye.
Bye.